Israel has offered a comprehensive new proposal. It's a roadmap to an enduring ceasefire and the release of all hostages. I know there are those in Israel who will not agree with this plan and will call for the war to continue indefinitely. Some are even in the government coalition. And they've made it clear they want to occupy Gaza. They want to keep fighting for years. And the hostages are not a priority to them. Well, I've urged the leadership in Israel to stand behind this deal.
That was an announcement by President Biden earlier today that Israeli and Qatari mediators have apparently come up with a possible deal that could result in all of the hostages being released. But as he made clear in that clip, he already knows that there are some people inside of the Israeli government that don't actually think that getting the hostages back is the most important thing and would not stop the hostilities if that was the result. In fact, the National Security Advisor recently met with families of those who are still hostages. And I can only imagine how horrible every day must be. You're months and months into not having your family member, and you believe maybe as a result of this horrible war, I could get my family member back. Well, this is what the National Security Advisor said. I don't believe that this government will succeed in completing the entire hostage deal. This government will not make a decision to stop the war for the return of all the hostages. I mean, you've been told, you've seen it on social media, you've seen it on billboards, you've seen it everywhere. Getting the hostages back is the most important thing. And that's something that's been said not just to prospective allies of the war, like in America, but to the families as well. And maybe for some of them, that is still the goal. Will they be the ones who make the final determination? Remains to be seen. He goes on to say, we have to keep fighting so that there won't be another October 7th and October 2027. If the hostages don't return within weeks or a few short months, we have no alternate plan. We will continue to fight in Gaza and in the north, and only then will we reassess. Of course, he also said that even if they were returned, they wouldn't stop the war. So a little bit of mixed signals there. By the way, he ends up, because that meeting becomes contentious, as you would imagine it would, if you'd just been told that they're not willing to stop the war, which has already been devastating in a million different ways to get your family members back. He goes on to insult members of the family. One of the participants in the meeting brought up the fact that Netanyahu has a private swimming pool, that public money was used to renovate it. And he says to that family member, he can build 10 pools with his money if he wants. What an abhorrent thing to say. He accused the woman of exuding hatred. She has a family member that's still a hostage. You don't seem to care about that. She should have at the very least hatred at that particular moment. And the Hostage Family Forum put out a statement saying the Israeli government made a conscious and deliberate decision to sacrifice the hostages. The hostages in the entire state of Israel have been taken captive by those who chose political interests over their national and governmental duty. Hamas says they're ready for a complete agreement, the release of all the hostages if they stop the war. They would also want some Palestinian security prisoners. And look, maybe they're lying. Maybe you wouldn't be able to get that deal. But let them be the liars, try at least. But even before giving them the chance to renege on the deal, some members of the Israeli government are already saying that they're not going to take it. Remains to be seen, as Joe Biden said, but what do you think?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. So what's in the deal is monumentally important, and the Saudis are involved in a way that could be either positive or terrible. So I'm gonna get to that in a second, but understanding what's driving all this. First of all, the National Security Advisor is one of the worst people on earth. So yelling at that poor lady, you know what she said? She said, I was in a safe room for 15 hours, worried to death for my family. I had to step over dead bodies that the Hamas terrorists butchered, and my family members taken. And you think I'm abhorrent for asking about spending our money on Benjamin Netanyahu's pools? And you say that he should be allowed to have 10 of them. And then she walked out, and then he threatened to kick out other family members. He's a disgusting human being. Like these guys, they're so hell-bent on murder that they're like, who cares about the hostage lives? At one point, she says, then we're lost because you're not even trying to get them. He says, you're correct. Just telling Israeli family members who had their loved ones kidnapped by terrorists, we don't care about you. We just want to kill Palestinians. So we don't care about you at all. So your hostages can go die. Or that's your hostages, you're the national security advisor. Those are your citizens. I don't care. Let's go back to killing Palestinians. These guys are disgusting. And if you're wondering why him, Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, etc., say things like that, because their plan, and they're not hiding it, they've said it 1,000 times, is to take Gaza. They're like, why don't we just take it? And then it'll be ours. And we drive the Palestinians into the desert. Problem solved. Genocide. Where's the question? Where's the question? So the right wing definitely wants to do a genocide, wants to complete the genocide and the ethnic cleansing of Gaza and just steal it. And they're not shy about saying it. And they don't care if the Israeli hostages die so that they can steal that land. So now, that's not the only wing in Israel. Benny Gantz is in the war cabinet. And the reason why things are moving faster now is because Benny Gantz said, I'm leaving this government on June 8th unless we get to a resolution on what we're doing after the war, okay? Because the reason Netanyahu's not saying it is because he agrees with Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. He wants to steal Gaza. So you can't say, I want to steal Gaza, that's my plan, right? So if your plan is to steal Gaza, you say, oh, golly gee, it's only been 7 months, I haven't come up with a plan. Oh, golly gee, did I squeeze them all into one area where I could just push them out? Oh, golly gee, did I destroy 80% of Gaza? I wonder what my plan is. It's so complicated, right? So now the Saudis want a deal because they want to build a nuclear program with us giving them the technology to do it. They say it's a civil nuclear program, which is the same thing Iran says, and we go, no way, we'll attack you, we'll destroy you, Iran. Oh, Saudi Arabia, you'd like to do the same total BS? Oh, we'll help you do it. And then the Muslim fundamentalists in Saudi Arabia, who are butchers, can have nukes. That sounds like a great plan. Okay, now, in order for all this to happen, the Saudis know there'll be a revolution inside their own country unless they pretend to care about the Palestinians. So if the deal is actually to get Israel to leave within 6 weeks and then to have a pathway to a statehood, it would be demilitarized state, the devil's in the details, because this is an old Israeli trick. I offered them peace and I offered them 3% of their land back and they wouldn't take it. Huh. I mean, I was only gonna keep 97%. It's all the Palestinians' fault. Let's go back to killing them and occupying them forever. So look, I'm exaggerating with the 3%, but some of those deals were awful. So Biden didn't say what's in this deal. And the Saudis don't give a damn about the Palestinians. All they care about is, and by the way, part of the deal would be for us to ensure their security. So that means we not only have to fight wars for Israel, but now we have to fight wars for Saudi Arabia. And I will trade all of that in if the Palestinians actually get a state. But that's a giant if. If it's a trick and the Palestinians are never gonna get their state, now America third after Saudi Arabia and Israel. So we don't know yet. And when you say the devil's in the details in these so-called peace deals, sometimes it's literal. There's a lot of devils in there. There's Mohammed bin Salman, the butcher of Riyadh. There's Netanyahu, the butcher of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. So there's a lot of butchers in that have their bloody hands in that deal. I would be shocked if the Palestinians got a state out of it, but if they do, then not all is forgiven. But you've got to make peace at some point, even if it's with bin Salman and Netanyahu. But it's got to be actual peace.
Just real quick, I think here's Cenk, you teased it before we went to commercial break. The last break, you said, it could be good or it could be bad because of Biden's announcement. Here's why I know it's bad. He didn't name Benjamin Netanyahu when he said some in the government. He didn't say Benjamin Netanyahu. And because of that blaring deception, that's what I call it, because he was afraid to say it. I think that it's nothing here, and that's how I feel. It's trash.
Yeah. So look, that is entirely possible because Biden could just be doing it for PR. Oh, I came up with a peace deal. Wink. Oh, golly gee, they didn't do it, and they totally violated my red line. But we had a peace deal. Oh, oh, perfect. since we had a peace deal that we offered Hamas, it's all Hamas's fault. Oh, Hamas made us kill their babies. Oh, there's nothing I could do. I just slit the baby's throat. Oh, Hamas made me do it. Sorry, they didn't physically do it with their own hands. They dropped a bomb, and then we saw the child without its head, literally in Rafah. That actually happened. Oh no, but we're told by American media that if America or Israel or any of our allies drop bombs that decapitate children or burn them alive, that's not terrorism. That's good, wholesome self-defense. Okay, on the other hand, guys, Gallant, who's the defense minister, and Benny Gantz, who's in the war cabinet. There's only 3 of them in the war cabinet that get to vote. It's Netanyahu, Gallant, and Gantz. And Gallant and Gantz they're both, don't get me wrong, I got no love for any of them. Gallant is also a war criminal. He's a defense minister that's gonna be brought up on charges along with Netanyahu. Benny Gantz authorized, greenlit the entire genocide. Now, having said that, they're not as bad as Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and Netanyahu. And Gallant and Gantz are getting itchy. You know why? Because they wanted to build up credibility with the Israeli population by greenlighting the massacres. Unfortunately, according to the polling, and it breaks my heart, but the Israeli population kind of loves what the IDF did to the Palestinians. So Benny Gantz and Gallant went all along, but now Netanyahu is getting popular again in Israel. So they're demanding an election by September because Benny Gantz is gonna run against them. Look, that's a good thing. I want Gantz to run against them. I want him to leave the government, and I want there to be an election in September because it's our only hope to get to peace. But don't think that any of these guys are good guys. But if for their own purposes, they force that election and it forces a peace treaty and they stop killing Palestinians and wish upon wish they end the occupation, I would take it all. I would take it. Because at some point we have to take a peace deal. But those are all giant ifs, and everyone involved are liars and have the worst track record ever. Biden, Netanyahu, Mohammed bin Salman. There are barely any bigger liars on the planet. So cross your fingers, but don't trust any of these guys.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.